Hi, welcome to the Destin Business Forum. Our guest today is Chuck Garcia. He is the Human Resources Manager for the City of Destin. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
Tell me what the Human Resource Manager does for the City of Destin.
Well, we do the recruitment, get involved in the selection process for employees, pretty much the life cycle, the employment cycle of employees, evaluations, compensation, and eventually termination. I'm also the risk manager for the city, so I deal with a lot of the insurance issues and claims and those kinds of things as well.
Fun stuff, right?
Yeah, it's great stuff.
And you're here mainly to talk about two different surveys that are out with the City of Destin, and that is a business survey.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
Tell me about the business survey.
Well, the business survey is being administered by an independent third party that the city hired. It's the Auburn Technical Assistance Center, and they're doing all the numbers crunching, and as surveys are completed online, it's going to them, and they're dealing with them. So again, they're totally anonymous. The survey opened on around January 4th. 1,500 letters were sent to businesses within the city limits of Destin with instructions on how to go ahead and complete the survey. We sent a postcard out to remind businesses on the 14th, and we'll be sending an email blast this week to remind folks again. The survey will close around February 15th.
Okay, and then everything will be processed after that?
Everything will be processed after that, correct.
When the city does a business survey, what are they hoping, I know you can't speak for the city, but what's the hope that will be gained from this survey?
That's a great question.
Was it? Because it sounded weird.
No,
but,
it's a very good question. Our quality process, we plan, we do, we check, and we act. And this is part of the check process of that improvement cycle that allows us to kind of understand what customers, residents, businesses, and eventually visitors, by the way, how they feel about the city, what they have to say, how we might be able to improve, and this information is then processed, and then we act and make changes. It teaches us how to allocate resources, for example, and how to make recommendations to the elected officials. We'll be having a visioning session in April 29th and 30th, and this will be part of that visioning session, so they can hopefully better understand where the community is and what they're thinking and how we can improve and work better as partners with the community. And the business community in particular in this case.
That's a great thing, I think, that the city does. What is it? Plan,
do, check, and act. Yes.
Plan, do, check, act. I like that. So I wouldn't imagine there would be a lot of bad, but they're going to hear the good and the bad and try to improve upon the good and improve upon the bad, so it goes from bad to good.
Yes, yes. So you hear what folks have got to say, and part of the check process again would be to develop metrics or measures so that you can focus on those things that you're trying to improve and actually see some statistical data that would show that you're making improvements.
That you are improving.
Absolutely.
And then there's another survey. It's the citizen survey.
Yes, the citizen survey is being conducted by the National Research Center. It's in coordination with the International City Managers Association. It again is a third-party survey that's being independently administered. There were postcards sent out on January 16th to about 1,200 residents within the community. They'll be reminded on January 2nd, or were reminded on January 2nd and again on January 30th through additional mailings. And that survey will close about the 27th. We'd like to get at least...
27th of February?
27th of February, thank you. It will look at the community quality of life. It'll look at community design, transportation, public safety, recreation, culture and education, public trust. And we're able then to take that information and benchmark it against 70 comparable cities, resort communities under 50,000. So we can get some really get a good idea of how we stack up and where we can improve. And in addition to that, we have some resources to go out and say, well, what is it that you're doing that maybe we're not to help improve our community?
You mentioned something when we were talking about the business survey that eventually, I think I heard you right, eventually we would be able to find out what tourists thought. Did I?
Our mission is to promote the health, safety, welfare, and quality of life of our citizens, our businesses, and our visitors. Okay. So the final survey that we'll be doing, and by the way, we'll be doing these every 2 years, so we want to continually improve and continually hear what folks have to say. But the visitors to our community are such an integral part of the success of Destin and the quality of Destin
Sure.
that we want to hear what they have to say, and we want to go ahead and implement some improvement processes that could make things better for them as well.
Sure. I think it's such a brave thing to do, to ask your citizens, your business clients, and your tourists, how am I doing? You see some businesses that don't do that, and I think they're afraid of the answer because they don't know how to make those changes. And I think the city has done that in the past, and it sounds like they will continue to do that in the future.
Yes, that's the plan.
All right, I know all about the citizen survey and the business survey. Is there anything else I need to know before we close?
No, I'd just like to encourage the businesses within Destin, if you haven't filled out a survey, please. As Amy said, we were very anxious to hear what you've got to say. We take it very seriously. And the citizen survey as well. We've seen some really great things in the past from the citizen survey and some good recommendations and good ideas for us to improve, and we want to continue to do that.
So you can't respond to it unless you hear from them.
That's
so
absolutely correct.
fill out those surveys.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back.